Good day and welcome. Now we're looking at rules of differentiation. We look at the first of 7 different ways we're going to test rules of differentiation using power rule. Alright, so determining first derivative using rules of differentiation. We're testing a process, and this process of determining the expression for dy dx is called differentiation, and dy dx is termed the differential coefficient of y with respect to x. Alright, dy dx is read as we're differentiating y with respect to x. So general rules and my power rule, the first one here. So if given that f of x equal ax to the power n, and n is an element of real numbers, then the first derivative of that become a times the n, and from the n I will always subtract 1. So if I give you an example here, x to the power 3, first derivative of that, 3 times the 1, 3 minus 1 would give me 2. If you don't get it now, I'm going to be doing a lot of problems and you'll get it. Second, we need to understand that if we're given a constant, meaning 38, no value at x or y, no variable, then the first derivative of that is 0. So first derivative of 38 equals 0. Right? Number 3, if we differentiate and have more than one term in the bracket, later on you learn chain differentiation, implicit, etc. But this I'm just doing at a grade 12 level. So dx, I can separate dx f of x plus minus dx gx. So if we look at the example of that, differentiate x, given 3x to the power 8 plus 3x to the power 5. 8 times 3, 24. 8 minus 1, 7. 5 times 4, 20. 5 minus 1, 4. And I'm done differentiating. Right? I can also say differentiate x, given a constant times the equation of a function. So that becomes k times dx f of x. I can swap it around and differentiate only that part. So if f of x equal 8x2, I'm only differentiating where the variable is. So there my first derivative 8 times 2 times 1, which gives me 2, 2 minus 1, which gives me 1, and 2 times 8 would give me 16, 2 minus 1 gives me x to the power 1. Very important from your certs, it's going to become a compulsory exam question. Just remember, when given a cert, the exponent on the inside of the cert always gets written on top. The exponent on the outside always gets written in the bottom. So that becomes x 5 over 4. So we're going to have specific problems on that. So now I'm just going to look at the first easier format that we test. Right? Given a simplified equation and all the other equations, we first have to manipulate. But yeah, let's look at some general problems. So finding the derivative of the following. First note, there's 3 notations commonly used to find first derivative. So f prime x, or we have dy dx, differentiate y with respect of x, or dx. So number 1, given simplified equations, right? So I have f of x equal minus 3 x to the power 10. I'm going to take the exponent, multiply it to the coefficient. So 10 times negative 3. And from 10, I'm going to say 10 minus 1. So 10 times negative 3 gives me negative 30. 10 minus 1 gives me 9, and I found the first derivative. So look at problem number 2. Find the derivative of the following. So now we can also give you dx, and in brackets x 5 over 2 as an exponent. So 5 over 2 times 1, and then 5 over 2 minus 1. So that becomes 5 over 2x. 5 over 2 minus 1 would give me 3 over 2, and I'm done differentiating. Right, problem number 3. Right, find the derivative of the following. So this is the same as saying capital D with a small x, d over dx, differentiate the equation with respect to x. So again, minus 2 times 4, minus 2 minus 1. 4 times negative 2 would give me negative 8. Minus 2 minus 1 gives me negative 3. In the general rule, we don't mark it no more in exam, but general rule is we don't want a negative exponent. So I take that to the bottom to become positive x to the power 3, negative 8 stays on top. Right, let's look at fourth problem. Right, if you're enjoying the lesson so far, you want to stay up to date, please ensure that you like, share and subscribe. Alright, evaluate dy dx. If y equal x negative 3 plus 5x4 minus x over 3. Right, so first I'm going to write it in the format so that I can factorize. So I assume you know that is 1x negative 3 plus 5x4. And there x, if I take it away, there's a 1 in front, so that's 1 over 3 x to the power 1. Right, so x just goes to the side. So differentiate y with respect to x, negative 1, or 1 times negative 3 minus 1. 4 times 5, 4 minus 1. 1 times a third, 1 minus 1. So minus 3 times 1 gives me minus 3. Minus 3 minus 1 gives me negative 4. 4 times 5 would give me 20. 4 minus 1, x to the power 3. There, 1 over 3 times 1 stays 1 over 3. 1 minus 1 gives me x to the power 0. There's a general rule, as I said, we don't have negative exponents as final answer. Right, and I assume you know anything to the power 0 is 1. So there, my final answer, minus 3, take that to the bottom, becomes x4 plus 20x3 and x to the power 0, 1 times a third stays a third. Right, so this is just some general problems. The easier ones, you don't need to show the step in the middle. Right, but these are the easier ones. In the next lesson, I'll be doing all the variations of how we're going to test this in exams. Hope you enjoy the lesson. Wish you nothing but the best. Bye. Oh, determine the first derivative. Given fx equal 2x cubed minus 6x squared plus 3. 3 times 2, 3 minus 1. 2 times 6, 2 minus 1, and a constant 0. So 2 times 3 gives me 6, x squared minus 12, x to the power 1. Bye.